Members of the anti-Trump resistance are delighting tonight in a new war of words between Steve Bannon and President Trump, which the left is hoping is going to breathe life into that flagging Mueller-Russia collusion investigation. In a soon-to-be-published book about the first year of the Trump presidency, Bannon suggests that President Trump was aware of that controversial June 2016 meeting between Don Jr. and a Russian attorney at Trump Tower. Bannon says, reportedly, the chance that Don Jr. did not walk these people up to his father's office is zero. By the way, it's worth noting that Bannon didn't actually join the campaign until August of 2016, 2 months after that meeting occurred. Well, as you can imagine, all of this set off a Pavlovian feeding frenzy in the media, since Bannon's account contradicts the statements of the White House officials who've claimed that the president never was told about that meeting. And Bannon goes on to characterize the Trump Tower meeting as both treasonous and unpatriotic. He predicted that Mueller's team will, quote, crack Don Jr. like an egg. Ouch. The president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, was also called out by Bannon, and he said, you realize where this is going. This is all about money laundering. Mueller chose senior prosecutor Andrew Weissman first, and he's a money laundering guy. Their path to blanking Trump goes right through Paul Manafort, Don Jr., and Jared Kushner. It's as plain as a hair on your face. The president responded in a typically blunt statement. He said, Steve Bannon has nothing to do with me or my presidency. When he was fired, he not only lost his job, he lost his mind. Steve doesn't represent my base. He's only in it for himself. Okay. Here's my advice in the form of a few questions. I'm kind of playing a little bit of, Dr. Phil, maybe a little Judge Judy here. Some questions. Who does this help? Does this kind of unseemly tit-for-tat advance the conservative populist agenda at all? What's going through, frankly, both sides' minds? Now, Donald Trump is the head of the Republican Party. It's not Bannon, it's not me, it's Donald Trump. And with these statements, Bannon has given basically credence to the worst conspiracy theories of the impeached Trump forces. Bannon's probably won himself a trip to testify on Capitol Hill as well. And is that really what Bannon wants? I mean, I know Steve Bannon. Is that what he wants? If there is a policy difference between Bannon and Trump on any issue, or any of us with the administration on any issue, have a substantive exchange. Rally the voters to your point of view on whatever issue it happens to be. But fellas, it doesn't really make sense for a high-profile advisor and his former boss to publicly attack each other when the stakes are this high. How does that make any sense? And aren't you kind of playing right into the hands of the Democrats and the media, who are hoping for nothing more than your mutually assured destruction? Ironically, what Bannon's comments, again, if accurate, have actually done, they've kind of created a tidal wave of establishment support for President Trump. They're all rallying to his side today. Not exactly how we saw this story developing. Now on to more important matters. There was a big meeting with congressional leaders of both parties at the White House today on a potential deal to give legal status to the 800,000 so-called dreamers brought into the country by their parents or sent to the country on their own. And it's a negotiation that's scheduled to continue tomorrow. The president's going to be really involved tomorrow in that meeting, I understand. And as you'll recall, Obama, through an executive action, it's called Deferred Action on Childhood Arrivals, DACA, he allowed all these people to stay and ultimately work in the country for rolling 2-year periods. You can re-up after every 2-year period. In fact, in 2017, even during the Trump administration, tens of thousands of illegal dreamers applied for and did receive their DACA status. So, in a way, Obama's policy lived on. But last September, Trump said he would end the program. But then, in what was kind of a game of hot potato, illegal alien style, he gave Congress 6 months to find their own solution. Kind of smart, actually. But Trump demanded that lawmakers pass responsible immigration reform. I guess as part of all of this. So what might responsible immigration reform look like? Well, the president has given us a few clues already.
This kid came in through a lottery system. I've already instructed Congress they must end it.
You talked about E-Verify, building the wall, chain migration, which is a huge problem.
All of those things are happening.
They're going to have to do E-Verify, chain migration.
Sure.
Is that a requirement for you?
Chain migration is a disaster for this country, and it's going to end.
Will it be part of a Dreamer deal,
yes,
a DACA deal?
It'll be part of a DACA deal.
Well, the president's on the right track here. And as I said last night, there must be non-negotiables for any DACA deal. I'm frankly concerned about any DACA deal. But if it's going to happen, we must fully fund the border wall. We must end chain migration. We must defund these sanctuary cities. We must end the visa lottery. We must mandate E-Verify, hire thousands more immigration and ICE agents to enforce the law, and immigration judges, by the way, and cut the number of green card recipients by half. The dreamer nightmare, by the way, it's already upon us. I love how they use the word dreamers, like none of the rest of us have dreams. Dreamers actually will cost the American taxpayer $2.6 billion annually if Congress passes amnesty. That's according to the Congressional Budget Office, not me. And more unaccompanied alien children are coming across now, today. Why are they doing that? Why are the numbers going up of the unaccompanied minors? Because Congress is flirting with granting citizenship to dreamers and all the benefits of health care, education, housing. So foreigners see the green light here. According to the last 2 months of available stats, we've seen a surge. This is how bad it is. 7,000 unaccompanied children have crossed the border. And by the way, they cannot be deported to their home country under current U.S. law. They get to stay here. They're sent out to they're detained initially, then they're released into the U.S., becoming our responsibility, the U.S. taxpayers' responsibility. Given that we have, just think about it, this is just one metric, thousands of homeless U.S. veterans on the streets tonight, shivering in the cold, with no one to care for them, suffering from PTSD, mental illness, addiction problems. By the way, about 200 yards from where I'm broadcasting right now, we have them in the streets at a homeless shelter when they can't get in. They're out in the streets, but we're catering to the illegal immigrants. That's the priority of Congress? This is unconscionable. In a moment, we're going to explain the demographic, political, and cultural effects of illegal immigration that have swept, and by the way, could swamp the country. The failure of Republicans to protect and secure the border cost them dearly at the ballot box for several cycles. And their perpetual efforts to cater to the violators of our laws at the expense of working citizens and legal immigrants are one of the reasons that Donald Trump got elected in the first place. Remember, it's called America First. And if Republicans make some quickie deal on DACA, some cutesy thing they pull, and violate the president's promise to his base, it'll be GOP last. And that's the angle.